Welcome to the City Manager's Report. The City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and municipal news. And a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. Your hosts, Emily Mikowski of Oshkosh Media and City Manager Mark Roloff.
And thank you for joining us on GovTV for your City Manager's Report. Your source for all of the most current things happening here in Oshkosh, some great city news and updates, as well as a preview of the upcoming City Council meeting agenda. I'm your host, Emily Mikowski, joined as always by your City Manager, Mark Roloff. Welcome, Mark.
Great to be here, Emily.
Yes, it's been a little while since we've been back in the studio, so hopefully we can shake the rust off and dive right in.
I think we'll be okay.
So for the first half of today's show, we're going to go ahead and get into some city updates and exciting news. Then we'll take a little break and come back with a preview of the City Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, April 26th, 2016. So Mark, the first thing we want to talk about is a little bit of a recap of the council organizational meeting that took place earlier this week. So how'd it go? What exactly all happens in a meeting like this?
It's an annual ritual where the council is, number one, the new council members getting their new term, whether they're re-elected or newly elected, get sworn in. We have two council members that were incumbents that were re-elected, Councilmember Pansky and Councilmember Herman, and then Councilmember Lori Palmieri was elected, newly added to the council, and they were all sworn in. That's really the first order of business after the previous council just finishes up business and takes care of things. So they were all sworn in, and then they elect a deputy mayor. Councilmember Deb Allison Osby was elected deputy mayor, and then they discuss just transition things, new rules that they may want to take a look at, really rules of procedure for the council meeting, and then also about orientation, which you know about because you helped take the lead on it, but get the council members familiar with different city operations, and not just for the newly elected council members such as Councilmember Palmieri, but also for council members who may want a refresher course in things that are going on at the city to become familiar with, so they have a better understanding of some of the behind the scenes stuff that are going on with departments and how they operate and why we do things a certain way.
Yes, it's a great opportunity for new council members and council members who might have been on council for a little while as a refresher to get to know the city a little bit. So that council organizational meeting is now airing on GovTV. It's also on our website at oshkoshmedia.org, and it won't take up too much of your time. I think it was a whopping 15-20 minutes long, so they kept it short and sweet for us. Mark, next thing we want to talk about is an update about the Main Street reconstruction. We've been seeing a little bit in the news, and it's a little bit behind its start date. What's the reasoning behind that? Well,
first of all, part of the reasoning is that this is a state project. Technically, we received a grant, or we have grant funds that we can apply to that. And when the project is that big and it involves state money, sometimes the state takes the lead on the project. So just frankly, there's more bureaucracy associated with a state project, especially when federal money is also involved, than it is when it's a city project. It's just much more simple to us. When we award a bid on a contract, literally we can start construction in 2 weeks. With the state, it takes much longer. And we were led to believe, and we reported this at our last meeting, so I want to make sure it's corrected, that it was sitting on the governor's desk is how it was referred to us. And actually that was not correct. There are so many different rules and regulations that have to get taken care of with federal laws whenever federal money is involved, that it just takes more time. And there was a lot of paperwork getting shuffled between the contractor and the state. Because we're not involved directly in that, we're not privy to that type of information. So as we started to dig a little deeper, State Representative Gordon Hintz got involved, and he made some inquiries and got us a little closer to what the reality was. It's taking longer than would normally take for us. So street projects, if you're familiar with, we just do a quicker job at it. It's just going to take a longer turnaround for this to happen.
Okay, and maybe just a quick recap of all the work that's going to be happening on North Main Street. It's a very big project.
This is a full reconstruction from top to bottom, which means it's not just the surface. We're doing a lot of sanitary sewer, a lot of storm sewer, as well as because of the federal law, we the federal money involved, we have to redo the sidewalks. So there's a lot of work getting done. And as well, through discussions with the neighbors a couple years ago, we decided to eliminate parking on one side of the street and replace that with a bicycle lane so that we can have multimodal, it's called, capabilities on Main Street. So those are other things that you'll see added to the street that'll be a little different than what you see in some other areas.
Well, sounds like some really good updates, and of course with the reconstruction comes some closures and things like that. So there are signs that have been posted, some detours have been posted, and the Public Works Department has kind of gotten on top of this, and they've created some email subscriptions that you can sign up for if it's a specific project like the North Main Street reconstruction. You can sign up for that and find out any different delays or closures that might be happening, but as well as, citywide things. There's some special collections, email subscriptions that you can get, and even winter roads, which we've talked about in a previous episode of CMR. So,
yeah, we're trying to get people to be aware of what's going on with the project. If they're busy and they can't make a phone call during the day, they can email something, and we'll send you regular updates on what's going on. It may answer some questions that you just want to get a quick answer to. So, and you can do streets, or in this case, this has to do with sanitation updates. If you want any information on sanitation updates, special collections,
holiday changes,
absolutely, all those things. That's a long email address, special collections -subscribe at list.ci.oshkosh.wi.us. You can also just go to the website, go to sanitation, and it'll give you that easy link so you don't have to mess with it too much.
Yes, they are all under the Public Works Department's homepage. If you go to streets, you can see the long list of projects that we've got scheduled for the summer. You can subscribe to those specific projects, or as you can see here, for those sanitation updates that we were talking about, there's a link right down there. All you got to do is send an email. They'll send you an email, respond to it, and you're in. So
yeah, we're just getting started on this, and there's probably better ways to do it, and we'll look to those things. But we want people to be able to know what the status of their projects are, and so this is a good way to get on an entree into this. And our new Public Works Director, James Robbie, wants to get more information out. So we'll try to improve it as time goes on.
Yes. So another thing we want to talk about today, Mark, is the Arbor Day program. That's coming up next week on April 28th at the Payne Arts and Garden Center. And this is the 35th year that they've been doing it, so it's been quite a while that this has been going on. We've been very active in making sure that our urban tree program continues, and that's very tough with limited monies, but we take an active interest in making sure that our urban forest gets maintained. And the Payne Arts Center and Gardens is a wonderful partner, and we're going to have an event over there on April 28th. I know Mayor Cummings is going to be there doing the proclamation designating Arbor Day, but it's also an opportunity for young people to learn about tree planting, the value of trees, why it's important even in an urban environment, and a lot of partner organizations that are involved, and we're very happy to have that. You've got, of course, UW Oshkosh is a Tree Campus USA, and Wisconsin Public Service, they're Tree Line USA, so a lot of partners. And American Transmission Company, I know they get a lot of trouble for tree trimming and that, but they recognize the value of trees in our community. So we're getting all those folks involved, and I believe the students from Reed Elementary are going to be planting a tree right on the grounds of the Payne. So it's a really cool part of it. It's a wonderful program, and I think it teaches young people the importance of trees. It's one of the first things they learn in science is about how the trees help create oxygen, and we work together. So it's a great educational process that we go through, and our city forester, Bill Sturm, who's there, knows so much about this and genuinely interested in educating the public about this. Yes, there's a lot of passion coming from Bill. He's very into it, and he's a great forester. You can find more information on this program, when it is, where it is, and even more information about Tree City on the Parks and Forestry website, as well as I believe the Payne has something on there too for this specific event. So there's a lot of great information out there, and you just got to educate yourself, and it should be hopefully a great day, whether weather-wise for them to go out and plant a tree.
We can always hope.
Next thing we wanted to just mention is the state of the city. Last episode a few weeks ago we mentioned that it went very well, and we did a little recap, and now the video is available on GovTV. It's now airing on that channel, as well as on our website at oshkoshmedia.org and on our YouTube channel. So if you didn't get a chance to make it out on March 31st, you definitely missed out, but you won't miss out too much because we've got the video available for you.
Several hundred people were there, engaged in talking to the departments. This is from our City Exhibit Expo, which is just prior to the address. You don't need to see the video of me making a speech. This is really the funnest part of State of the City, because certainly the report about how things are going, I'm very happy with it. And if you're really interested, watch it. But I love the opportunity that we have to interact with the public, answer questions. Everybody is so engaged and wanting to learn about new and different things. We were able to show off the police body cameras that we're going to be implementing this year. And just simple questions. If you got a question about a neighborhood association, or how to register to vote, or just about anything under the sun that we do at the city, you can learn about it. So we're very excited, and it's a great event, and we want people to know about it. So certainly encourage you to watch State of the City on GovTV.
Yes, definitely check it out. It was a great event. Mark, one other thing that we wanted to mention here is something that I'm kind of sad to announce is our operations coordinator, Andy Radig, is going to be leaving Oshkosh Media. He found a new adventure to pursue career-wise, so his last day is actually tomorrow, and this is his very last episode of City Manager's Report with us.
Of course, there's Andy in the studio. He's been there, or in the control room, been doing that for 21 years.
21 years.
And if you ever come into the lobby of Oshkosh Media, you'll see all the trophies. I think a sports person would be jealous to see all the awards that we've had in there, and it's due to Andy and everybody certainly associated with Oshkosh Media, but Andy's been the guy behind the scenes, and we're going to miss him. We know he's just going down Algoma Boulevard a little bit to help out at the university, but we got our eye on you, Andy, and we're not gonna forget about you.
There's always volunteer opportunities, Andy. There's always that, or a position on a board or something like that. But yes, we're very, very thankful for Andy, all that he's done. He's been here since the very beginning of the department, way back when we were Channel 10, the addition of 2 more channels and our radio station, everything. We're so appreciative of everything you've done. So thanks, Andy. We'll miss you.
Yep.
And now you're off the hook. No more spotlight for you this week. So now it's that time of the show on City Manager's Report that we take a question from a viewer about anything that they want to ask the city manager about what's going on here in Oshkosh. So let's go ahead and see what the question is this week. All right, Mark, so the question this week is, what are the plans for the rollout of the new city logo?
Well, I don't know who asked this question, but they obviously were one of those 200 to 300 people that were present at State of the City, because we rolled this out at State of the City, and this is just a sample of what the logo looks like. This is coming from new welcome signs that the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation is donating to us. But through the process, we said, well, maybe we need to freshen up our logo. It's still the same wave, but we've done a little bit with the color and squared it up a little bit and done all the things that the graphic art people tell you to do. Quite honestly, we had morphed our logo so many different ways. We found 100 separate variations of our logo, so we really needed to standardize and get back to square one. You know, you don't see Coca-Cola morphing their logo. They maintain a logo and they keep it, and every once in a while you got to realign things, especially with a corporate type logo. We're very pleased with the donation from the Community Foundation, and felt it was a good time for us to roll out the logo. So to answer the question, it's going to be a soft rollout. Electronically, you'll see more of it. We've already incorporated it into our agenda because the council and city manager, we don't put out a lot of memos and things like that, so it's easier to implement it there. But we have a lot of letterhead and envelopes and things like that.
We're going
to use it up. We're not going to waste a bit of that, but this is done electronically every 2 weeks, so you'll see it on the agenda. You'll see it on our website. We've electronically done that. You'll see it slowly roll out in time. But we want to make sure that we're frugal and not wasting money that we've already invested in letterhead and whatnot. But electronically, you'll see it first and eventually rolled out. But our signs are actually going to be here sometime in the next month or so.
So that'll be a big splash.
That'll be a big splash, and we'll have the community foundation out there because they're donating close to $100,000 for, I believe, 4 to 5 different signs throughout the city. So we're very appreciative of them, and just appreciative that we have the logo. So you see the old logo getting flashed on our the website,
Yeah.
but in the upper left, the new logo is there, and it just gives you an idea of what we're up to.
Wonderful. Well, it looks great, and we're excited to see it slowly start coming out, and those new signs are just going to be awesome. So we're looking forward to those too. If you'd like to send a question to Mark, simply email it to questionmark@ci.oshkosh.wi.us, post it to our Facebook page at Oshkosh Media, or post it on Twitter at City of Oshkosh. We'll answer it on the next episode of City Manager's Report. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will dive into the City Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, April 26th. We'll be right back on your City Manager's Report.
Hi, I'm Jim Collins, Transportation Director for the City of Oshkosh with an important message for motorists and bicyclists. Recently, the city has begun painting bike Sharrow symbols on roadways. The term Sharrow is short form for shared lane bicycle marking. Sharrows are made up of bicycle and chevron symbols, and they are located about 4 feet away from the curb where parking is not allowed and about 11 feet where it is. Streets with Sharrows do not have a designated bike lane, but still indicate that the roadway segment is a bike route and is expected to be used by bicyclists. Sharrow markings are used to show motorists where cyclists will be traveling within the lane, while also showing cyclists proper lane positioning, especially where lanes are too narrow to be safely shared. It's important to note that with or without marked Sharrows, bicyclists are encouraged to travel on streets and follow traffic laws just as any other vehicle on the road. Motorists are urged to continue to be aware of bicyclists and to share the road. Thank you for keeping Oshkosh safe, and happy riding.
Welcome back to City Manager's Report. Thanks again for joining us. We are here with our City Manager, Mark Roloff, and we are going to go ahead and review the City Council meeting agenda for April 26, 2016. Mark, first thing that we want to talk about on the agenda is under proclamations, and that is for Creative Economy Week. Very exciting.
The League of Wisconsin Municipalities has been partnering with state associations with arts to talk about the value of how the creative class and the creative economy really contributes to the overall betterment of our economy. So they want to bring attention to the contributions of the creative class. So they've asked cities throughout the state to do this proclamation, and it just recognizes that it brings tourism in, it produces commerce that people investing in the arts bring to the community, and so it's an opportunity for us to just highlight the creative class and thank them for all they do to improve our economy.
Yes, and that'll be taking place April 24th to the 29th, and there'll be a lot of push on social media. Make sure you keep an eye out for that. I kind of see a little bit of a reflection of what we did for Transit Week, except this time it's the focus on the Creative Economy Week, those, like you said, those businesses and awesome things that are in the city that really help the economy.
Absolutely.
So, looking forward to that. Next item we want to talk about under the consent agenda is Resolution 16-188, and that is dealing with the Red Arrow Park restrooms update. And it's a pretty decent amount of money here, about $104,000, and this is the restrooms, I guess. It's kind of another step in the right direction.
We've put an emphasis on improving the facilities we already have in our master park plan, and Red Arrow Park is used a great deal because it's a little league type of field that's used very heavily in the summer, and our restrooms throughout the city are in need of updating, and so this is our turn to get this one done.
And so we're seeing a lot of restrooms at all the different parks in Oshkosh being updated, and I know one of the big questions that people are going to ask when they hear about this one is, why don't you do the parking lot?
Red Arrow Park is a very unique park, and For longtime Oshkosh folks, one of the landmarks of Oshkosh is Garbage Hill right next door. And it's called Garbage Hill, and the problems we have at the Red Arrow Park parking lot are all the same. That's an old city landfill that goes back many years. And as the garbage decomposes, it really settles a lot. We'll have a good pad on the restroom itself, but the parking lot, for us to really do that correctly, we would have to excavate a great deal of old garbage and then haul it away and put new fill in. Comparatively speaking, this would probably be one of the most expensive parking lots in the city. And because we have so many other parking lot needs, this one has kind of taken a back seat. I would love to get it done. I know the resident, when my kids were in Little League, I know exactly what they're talking about. It's not a good parking lot, but we'll patch it a little bit until we get to a point where we can afford to do what's called over excavation. And so we're going to have to wait a little bit longer, but at least we know that the restrooms will be in decent shape.
Yes, and it makes sense too, because not a lot of people know that that's the reason the parking lot hasn't been done. So it's good to know that that settling is really the biggest thing behind it. So
exactly.
Give it a few more years.
If we were to put it in, it would wither away in a couple years, and that's just not a good use of money.
Definitely. Next item we want to talk about on the agenda, Mark, is Resolution 16-189, and that is dealing with the Southside Sanitary Sewer Study. That's about $209,000, and maybe you can explain what exactly is this all about?
We are trying to set ourselves up so that we can do growth in the southeast part of town. This is pretty much Oregon Street. We're going to be rebuilding our sanitary sewer because we want to make sure we have enough depth there that the aviation business park and any growth in the south side is being able to be taken care of. We need to analyze this so that when we resize the sewer on Oregon Street, that we size it correctly so that we don't have to keep digging it up. And this is the first time we've redone this sewer in many, many years, but it's time. There are folks that want to do some development on the south side, and right now we can't do that except under very limited circumstances. This will enable us to say, all right, how big is the sewer going to be? How deep does it have to go? And then we can then accommodate any growth requests as we get out further into this, the south side of the city.
Okay, so directly related to the Oregon Street reconstruction, and that's just another prime example of all the things that are involved in doing a street reconstruction. It's not just top layer, you got to pay attention to everything going on underneath.
In this case, it is all about sewer. The street is actually in decent condition, but we have to plan for the future. Otherwise, we're frozen in our growth, and our economy with the aviation business park and some of the housing and other businesses down there, we wouldn't be able to do it. So this is very essential to keep Oshkosh growing.
Great. Under continuing on in the consent agenda, we have 3 items that are all kind of related to each other. One is the approval of planned development for construction of a twin dominium on the northeast corner of East Parkway Avenue and Grove Street. Explain, first of all, I was confused at what a twin dominium is.
It sounds real boring. A twin dominium is really, it's sort of like a duplex in a condominium type of situation. What this is a wonderful collaboration with a lot of local partners. And kudos first off to Habitat for Humanity. They're really the ones that are the lead agency. They're going to be doing construction management, a very typical Habitat for Humanity home, but it's going to be a duplex and it's going to be jointly owned, just like a condominium, but just by 2 people. Okay. The city's involved in it. We've acquired the property. We'll turn it over to Habitat to get it constructed, and we'll be able to get 2 brand new folks who never owned a home to own a home, and so we have other partners with that as well. It's right there at the northeast corner of Parkway and Grove, and we're very pleased that we're going to be able to do all the necessary approvals at this meeting in 3 separate actions. But you're going to see a brand new house built into the neighborhood. It restores the neighborhood. The neighborhood association is involved. The Winnebago Homeowners Association is involved. So we're very pleased on this collaborative partnership to improve housing in the city. Very
cool. All the different organizations that are involved in that, and we're looking forward to seeing that in hopefully the near future here. Mark, next thing under new ordinances is amend, repeal, and recreate various sections of the municipal code pertaining to weights and measures. And for those of us who, like me, I look at this and I don't even know what it's talking about. Weights and measures, what are we talking about here?
By law, we are required to provide a weights and measures program, which means an inspection program to make sure that scales and pumps, anything that you buy in a measured way is done correctly. Scanners nowadays with scanning at stores, whether it's a grocery store or any type of store, those scanners have to be calibrated, and we have to know they're calibrated properly. A few years ago, our weights and measures program was in the health department. When we reorganized with the county, we chose to contract with the state to do our weights and measures program. And quite honestly, we've had mixed results. On the pump side, gasoline, things like that, liquids, actually we've been very pleased with the program. But the other ones, we have not seen the frequency of inspections, and we get concerned that if they're not doing it frequently enough, that things can fall through the cracks, so scales and scanners aren't getting done. So we're going to take that over again and have an inspections division be responsible for this. So the code has to reset all those rules and say that we'll do this, the scales and scanners, and the state will do the liquids, and we're just changing the law. And so you'll see city stickers back on some of those things where we used to have city stickers, then we had state, now we're going back to the city again.
Okay, and so the resident really should be concerned about this because it directly affects them when they're shopping or paying for anything that needs to be measured or weighed.
We want them to know when they're going to the store that they're going to get a reliable scan or a weight. It's keep people honest, but it's also to assure the public that things are being monitored.
Wonderful. Under new resolutions, we've got 3 items all related to the Fernal Watershed North Main Street area wet detention basin. And this is kind of relating to the Bemis tax increment finance district, isn't it?
Yes, you may recall the Bemis healthcare packaging. We created a tax increment financing district to assist them in expanding, but they weren't going to be able to take care of stormwater. So we pledged to the Department of Natural Resources that we would build a regional pond that would help not only Bemis healthcare packaging, but that entire North Park. So we're awarding a bid for over $3 million to get this pond built this year. The bids were a little higher than we thought. Construction costs are starting to go up a little bit, so we have to shuffle some dollars, and we're actually putting off another project in order to get this one done. But this will open up opportunities for businesses to expand there because they don't have the capacity to expand because of stormwater requirements. So we're making sure that this all gets taken care of, and we're getting the project done this year. So this is our big deal. Stormwater project for 2016.
Yes, and you can see the full list of all the stormwater projects on the city website under the Public Works and Stormwater page if you're curious to know what's going to be coming up after this or even more details on this project. And then, Mark, the last thing that we want to talk about today is an approval of a special event under new resolutions, and that is for Sawdust Days.
A lot of questions about Sawdust Days. It's a long-standing event. There's a lot of concerns about how that goes and making sure that they're held accountable for costs. And they have all those events packaged up for the 4th of July weekend. So it's going to be June 30th through July 4th, which is Monday this year. And of course, the big question is,
when are the fireworks?
When are the Festival Foods fireworks?
The Festival Foods fireworks,
yes. Festival Foods is a wonderful partner with us. This year it's going to be held on Monday, July 4th. It'll be at Menominee Park, so it'll be at the end of the weekend, at the end of Sawdust Days. And so we want to let people know that. You'll start seeing them on the Festival Food grocery bags. There was a debate last year about when they were going to do it, and I refer to the July 4th purists won out, and we're going to have it on Monday, July 4th. And certainly appreciate all the work that's associated with that. But Sawdust Days, there's questions about holding them accountable for some costs. There may be some changes, but they wouldn't be implemented until 2017 in terms of the boat launch and shelter rentals and things like that.
Great. So looking forward to more discussion from council on that issue. Yes. All right. Well, Mark, that's going to do it for this episode of City Manager's Report. As always, thanks so much for joining us today.
Happy to do it.
Again, the City Council meeting is this Tuesday, April 26th. You can watch it live on GovTV and on our website at oshkoshmedia.org. You can also listen to it on 101.9 Oshkosh FM, which is also online and on the TuneIn Radio app for mobile devices. Make sure you like our new Facebook page at Oshkosh Media or follow us on Twitter for all of your community and government programming and updates. Definitely check out our YouTube channel for government meeting replays and past episodes of your favorite programs too. Don't forget, if you have a question for Mark Roloff, you can send it to questionmark@ci.oshkosh.wi.us and he'll answer it on the next episode of CMR. Thanks so much for joining us on your City Manager's Report, and we'll see you next time.